Hello gang, welcome back to Psych 1. In yesterday's video, I went over my criteria of what makes a good game. In this video, I will go over the equivalents of rating animes. I didn't want to put anime footage here in case of copyright, so here are some Weeb wallpapers instead. I'm sure you guys will find this equally as intriguing. And for the record, I don't know what anime these wallpapers came from. I just picked out some that I found visually appealing. You also notice that I've gotten a new mic, so expect much better sound quality from here on out. Alright, let's begin. I think anime differs a lot from many other entertainment medias, but that's a topic I plan on discussing in detail in a future video. For now, let's just establish that animes are very different from any other entertainment medias. The reason that I decide to review and discuss Weeb-related content is because of its uniqueness in its presentation. I haven't seen that many animes, but I have a pretty good idea of what kind of expectations to have when judging them. Every single time I start to watch a new series, I'm often blown away by the bizarre concepts that the anime can come up with. Normally, it's something that I cannot imagine any other form of medias can establish. That being said, I will rate animes very harshly. It does not mean they're not good. In fact, I think any anime has something new to bring to the table. It's just that because anime is so good, my standards for anime is way higher than any other entertainment standards. If my average standard for mainstream entertainment is here, anime will be somewhere around here. Don't get me wrong, there are some non-anime shows that definitely have blown me away. And there are some animes that don't exactly live up to my expectations. I'm using this diagram as an average calculation. Alright, enough of that. Let's get started. First up, a little background of what kind of animes I will feature on this channel. I will attempt to review animes with a variety of genres. If an anime has more than one season, and the following season is distinct enough from the first, I will review them separately. If they are a direct sequel or prequel, I will review them in one package. I will also only discuss finished animes. This way I can get the full idea of what the story wants to tell. If an anime is ongoing, I probably won't review it. Yet. So, without further ado, here's what I'll be looking for when I'm watching anime. Story, ambience, and quality. I will not, however, judge an anime on its art style. Personally, just like video game graphics, I do not believe in such a thing as bad art style. Every single anime company has exactly what kind of presentation they want to produce for the audience. You'll never see an anime art style that the director never intended for you to see. You can, however, have your own subjective feelings about art style, but honestly, don't let it derail you from engaging in the story that the directors want to tell. Oh, also at the end of each review, I will tell you who my favorite waifu is. If there is one. And no, in case if you're wondering, I don't factor in breast sizes when judging waifus. Alright, let's go into each criteria. Unlike a game, an anime has no means of interactivity with the audience. As a result, the story will be what most people consume in order to determining whether an anime is good or not. Such story elements includes overall plot, character development, and resonance. The first two are quite self-explanatory. What I mean by resonance is how thought-provoking it is to the audience, how its story makes people think about how memorable it is. In other words, how impactful is the story not only to the characters within the anime, but to you, the audience, as well. I want to watch an anime and have lasting lingering thoughts about it. I want to feel the emotions that characters within the anime go through, as if I'm traveling with them on their adventure. More importantly though, I want to watch an anime and walk away taking something that I can use in my own life to improve my own perspectives on everyday life. I'm one to believe that just having a good story is simply not good enough for an anime to receive a perfect rating, because I know that storytelling can do so much more. For example, if an anime has an absolutely fantastic story but lacks any sense of resonance, I'll give it an 8 out of 10, at most. Sorry for nitpicking here, but the only reason is because how I regard anime so highly. I'm not lenient towards a particular genre of anime. I'll watch pretty much anything as long as its story is good. However, I would like to point out that I will give bonus points to animes that introduce conflict without the use of action/violence. Don't get me wrong, I do like me some action animes. No, not that kind. However, I realize that many action animes follow a similar theme. A badass character goes through some kind of epiphany, and then they become even more badass. That does not mean that action animes don't have the potential to become better. This is the reason why I will prioritize reviewing animes in more diverse genres. Alright, that's all I have to say about story. Let's move on. The ambience includes atmosphere, soundtrack, immersion, and overall aesthetics. The atmosphere is responsible for setting the mood for the anime. Is it a dark, misty vibe, or bright and cheerful? Keep in mind that the art style does not need to be overly elaborate in order to convey a powerful atmosphere. In other words, how much are you willing to buy into the setting that the directors want to sell to you? Remember how I discussed suspension of disbelief in yesterday's video? This is the same deal. Atmosphere is often accompanied by soundtrack, another element that I will be taking a close look on. Again, a soundtrack does not need to be overly elaborate in order for it to be considered good. It needs to have some resonance in conjunction with its narrative, so that much like what I said about games, the audience is able to associate a specific moment in the anime where a specific soundtrack played. This can have huge impacts on how significant that moment actually is. Has a particular moment in an anime or show really stood out to you because of the music that accompanied it? Maybe a badass moment where the hero unlocks some secret power? Or during a touching romance scene? These moments are what I'm looking for when judging soundtrack. I mentioned that I won't be judging an anime on its art style. I will, however, judge its aesthetics. Well, what's the difference between the two? Aesthetics dictate the animation style in which the show presents itself. I know, it's a bit confusing, so let me set an example. In JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders, you often see many over-exaggerated moments, like this one, where this character delivers a very touching and honorable speech, all the while striking a rather erotic pose.
俺のスタンドがしかるべき報いを与えてやる。そして1年前、俺はディオに出会った。
This style of over-exaggeration is an example of good aesthetics. It's not part of this art style, because I'm not talking about JoJo's overall visual element. Aesthetics is a way of presenting an art style, if that makes sense. Hopefully I haven't confused you too much yet, but now I'm going to go into my actual ratings. Similar to my rating for games in yesterday's video, I will rate an anime a whole number out of 10. I will use the same rating names as my video game rating video. A 0 to 4 is the fail rating. This simply means the anime completely fails as a work of entertainment. It should be a shame that it is an anime because of its massive lack of quality. But I don't think I'll ever give anything this poor of a rating, so this rating will probably never show up. A 5 is the passable rating. The anime has barely any interesting elements to get me hooked onto its narrative. It also means I barely had the motivation to finish it. Complacent music, generic character writing, and massive plot holes is what defines a 5 anime. Boring! A 6 is the IT rating. While there are some memorable moments in a 6 anime, the show lacks a major element to make it stand out. It barely meets all the criteria I mentioned above. Nonetheless, a 6 rating is still somewhat worthy of a watch. A 7 is the pretty good rating. A 7 anime has all the vital components to make it an enjoyable viewing. However, it suffers from some minor issues that prevents it from being an 8, whether that may be faulty plot holes, inconsistent writing, or mediocre soundtrack. However, a 7 still have some interesting points to make it stand out as a unique viewing experience. A 7 anime only appeals to a specific audience, so chances are some people are going to like it better than others. An 8 is the excellent rating. The anime meets my every expectations for any entertainment media to have. It has strong narrative writing, lovable characters, memorable soundtrack, and powerful atmosphere. This is most likely the highest I'm willing to give to most animes. A 9 is the masterpiece rating. A 9 anime accomplishes all the elements that an 8 has, and it resonates with the audience in some way that really brings it over the top. In short, I would spend weeks thinking about how a 9 anime affected me, an 8 not so much. Not only is the rating extremely rare, any anime rated a 9 should be recognized as a must-watch. Only a select few comes to my mind, but I'll get into them when I get there. A 10 is the standard defining rating. This is the true achievement point. The anime absolutely excels as a work of entertainment, making it the new standard medium for judging future animes. In other words, when I review animes in the future, I will compare how good it is to the 10 rating one. Then I will decide its appropriate rating, based on the standard of the 10. However, just like what I said in gaming, a 10 anime does not make it the best anime of all time. It serves as a defining point for rating anime as a whole. I don't think any 10s come to my mind just yet, but I'm sure they're out there. That pretty much covers everything you need to know for my rating standards for anime. Hopefully it gave you some insight of my personal opinions of Weeb culture. If you have any comments, that's what the comment section is for. This has been Psych 1 with how I rate anime. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in Weeb Week 3 days from now when I review the first anime. Other than that, stay tuned for a brand new video tomorrow.